We're doing something a little different today. I was sent this new notebook by Zur, but as you can see, this is a lined notebook, not a dot grid notebook. So today I want to answer the question, can you bullet journal in a lined notebook? Or does it make much of a difference they don't have the dot grids? But also, I wanted to try a little bit of digital bullet journaling and see if we can play with that as well. I do have a little surprise for you though, because I may or may not be hosting a giveaway, but you gotta stay until the end of the video to find out more about that. So like I said, this is a lined notebook by Zur, and you can see that although there are technically dots, they are only in lines. All the pages are numbered and they have these little boxes around them because the pages are intended to be scanned and digitized into online documents. So in total there are 192 pages, and the paper is relatively thin, but I think it works really well as a journal because it's super small, compact, and the front cover is really satisfying to touch. So I'm just opening up into a random page right here, obviously super random. I've never actually used this before, for sure. Obviously it is the month of May, so I figured why not just recreate a May calendar. If you haven't seen my May bullet journal setup already, I posted it I think 2 weeks ago by the time you're seeing this video, so definitely go check it out. It'll be linked down below, and I really love how that setup turned out. But in case you're looking for some new inspiration, here is a completely different setup that maybe you guys can take some inspo from if you have yet to make your May pujo spreads. So the first thing I'm noticing with the lined notebook is obviously there's not the vertical lines, so it does make it a little awkward trying to do the vertical lines because there's no reference with the dots. I went ahead and sketched out every spread that I'm going to be making in this video before I started filming to make it easier on myself, so as long as you use a pencil and possibly a ruler, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. What I also like with a lined notebook like this is it's a lot easier to like take notes. So for example, when you're doing a weekly spread, you're obviously going to want the specific lines to write all of your to-do lists on, and I think it doesn't really make that much of a difference than a dot grid. Now, in comparison with my bullet journal, my normal one, it is about the same size as my A5 bullet journal in both height and pretty much in width. It's almost exactly the same. The only difference with this one is it does have the rectangle box, which means that the pages are technically smaller because it already makes the margin for you. However, that's going to make it really easy when we try to digitize these pages, which if you are interested any at all in digital bullet journaling, I think that will make life a lot easier for you. So let's see, as far as color palette goes, this is technically supposed to be sushi at the bottom. So I'm gonna pull out a light peachy color like salmon for this top border. I literally have no idea what these little borders are called with the sparkles. I tried to look it up earlier today and like find out the name of those types of borders, but I could not tell you. It's like a retro-y thing. It reminds me of like the Harry Styles aesthetic, if that makes any sense at all, but I do not know the official name for whatever this outline ovally sparkle thingy-majig is. As far as texture, I'm finding no difference with this paper as the paper in a normal A5 notebook and a bullet journaling notebook, so that is absolutely great. Everything glides super smoothly and there's literally no smearing. I have no clue why I wanted to do a sushi theme for this setup. I know I want to do something completely different than my bullet journal theme for May, but I was also debating doing something similar to a reading journal setup with a lot of scrapbooking because this notebook is lined. It'll probably make it a lot easier to do something like a reading journal because it almost lends itself for like writing journaling. So if you need a notebook for like a diary, or if you need space to just write out and mind dump and write out a lot of different ideas, something with a lined notebook obviously makes it a lot easier to do that. It's just like a normal journal. So if you were like doing that in a bullet journal or like a reading journal, that could make this very helpful to you. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Look at the little sushi. Honestly, whenever I'm trying to fill up any little bit of space, I always do these little like, what do you want to call them? Like explosion, like almost teardrop shapes coming off of anything. It fills up any spread perfectly. You can tell it's a shrimp, right? It looks like a shrimp. Right down here in very minimal cursive, have a good month. Let's do a little transition, shall we? Ta-da! All right, so I'm gonna take the same peachy color and color in the shrimp because, I mean, it's almost the same color, I guess. Watercolor markers are great because you can always just add a second layer for a little bit of shadow, and it's super easy to blend with because it is based in water. Even when something is white, I always think you should add a little bit of like gray or tan or something to add a little bit of shadow and dimension, especially when everything else is colored. It looks really awkward if that one thing that's white is just the color of your paper. These are little beans. So I'll color them a nice little tan, put a little bit more brown in there too, and let's find a nice green. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little darkness right here because this is supposed to be that. And then I think I'll use a dark brown for the chopsticks. Oh, I immediately hate that. Okay, never mind. Let's use just a pure black because it's black and orange up here, so it would be better to just do completely black down here too. One thing I would love to do with this spread is add a little bit of white gel pen to give everything a little bit of highlight, especially these chopsticks. Since they're black, they could use a little bit of shine, but usually, unfortunately, white gel pen doesn't like to show up on a lot of water-based markers. So I'm missing a little something, so I'm just adding a little drop shadow right here. One tip for drawing straight lines vertically is I always rest my pinky against the end of the notebook and like freeze my position right here. So my pen isn't moving, it's just my hand like dragging close to my face, and I can usually get a pretty straight line that way. If you even look at this, I feel like the green line is straighter than the black line just because I did that trick. I'm gonna color in these little sparkles because that way it ties into the bottom. Oh yeah, that's better. Sometimes I'll be journaling and I'll just like make some impulse decisions. I'll just like cross my fingers, that looks good, because too late now. All right, so let's check out the spread. I think it looks super cute, super simple, but as you can see, it really didn't make any difference that I did it on lined paper because all the doodles are just drawn anyway. Like I said, the only thing I have to worry about is possibly you're shifting from left to right and making sure the margins are the same size, but using a ruler makes that super easy. And to be honest, whenever I'm in my actual journal, I always use a ruler anyway because it's so much easier than counting each of the individual dot grids. Another plus with a lined notebook is it usually is a lot cheaper. I know a lot of people who start bullet journaling on a lined notebook because that's all they have, and I feel like bullet journaling is one of those industries where like with all the stationery and everything, you can get really into like buying just a whole bunch of stuff for your journaling process, but you don't really need all that much. Like this lined notebook is relatively cheap, and I feel like it's a super easy way to get into bullet journaling just to test and see how you feel about it when you're just starting out. Lined notebooks in general are just super cheap usually in comparison to dot grids, so if you're a beginner bullet journaling person, I would definitely recommend trying this out. And if you're interested in this particular journal by Zur, use a link down below in the description box. You can go check them out. Use code MINGOVE, and I hope you guys enjoy your journals. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the second part of this video where I want to test out digital journaling. One specific thing about this particular journal that's super amazing is the ability to put it on a digital format. So fortunately, I am basic and I only have my little old iPad. So let's go into notes, pull up a document scanner. Okay, so as you can see, I basically just took a picture, scanned the page. What I'm gonna do is move these little corner things. I'm just gonna move these little corners to right under the black line. So that's what I said this black line was super helpful for. It's easy to just line up and get a clear edge to your digital pictures. That way, whenever I press keep scan, it'll perfectly line up into a rectangular picture that is just the same as your particular page. All right, so as you can see, I imported the picture into Procreate. Now I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so I can resize everything, because as you can see, it's a little smaller than the picture size. Make sure it's the right height, and I'm just going to center it right there. Perfect. Now, I do want to talk about editing a little bit because as you can see, the colors are a little more dull on the screen than they were in the journal. So I'm just going to go up here, tap saturation, and increase the saturation just a little bit. Now, what's amazing about this is because I took the picture in the journal and I used a document camera, as you can see, the white isn't adjusting, only this part is adjusting. So sometimes if you try to make something more saturated digitally, it'll make the white more orange or more green, whatever color was reflecting on it. But because we use document camera, the white is a pure white, so you can adjust all the saturation you want without even having to worry about how it affects the white in the background. This might be a little too much saturation. Let's put it at like 75. And so now that's just perfect. Remember how I was just talking about the white wasn't going to show up with the white gel pen? Well, what's great is I can just go down here, that's even too big, and add little white highlights with a digital pen. I used to do digital art a lot, and I don't really do it so much anymore, but playing on here makes me think I really should get back into it again because this is so fun, and I love the freedom of just being able to edit anything you want. And if for some reason I didn't like that line, I'll just undo it and redraw it. I'll add a little bit over on the shrimp because why not? Even shrimps need a little highlight. Even if it's subtle, it's nice to see that it's there. Now, if I wanted to, for example, make the calligraphy a little thicker, I feel like the calligraphy is too thin here, I'm just gonna go to black, come over here and draw next to it. But as you can see, it's not a complete black. So what I'm gonna do instead is just hold down, select the color over here. That way the color that I'm using is the exact same color as what I was drawing with in my journal. And now I'll just make the lines a little bit thicker. Especially if you're going to be posting pictures online and there's like a little mess up that you made in your journal, adjusting things digitally can be super easy way to just touch things up. That looks so good. Now let's actually get into using this journal for what I need to use it for. If, for example, I did want to do digital journaling and I wanted to use this for something, I could 100% just start filling it in online with my Apple Pencil. So I don't know, Star Wars Day is May the 4th. So I'll just take a little, ooh, that's way too big. I'll take a little pen and I'll write Star Wars Day. Let's say this day is graduation party, since it is the season and I am personally graduating this year. The last thing is, let's say for example I hated this entire thing. I'm just gonna get a little bit of white, go into a new layer, I'm gonna get a slightly larger brush, and I could literally just color right over this and the quote is completely gone. I feel like there's so much flexibility using a digital bullet journal, and it's definitely something that I would love to try out a little bit more. I have been bullet journaling for years. I think this is my 4th year bullet journaling, and I've never actually seriously gotten into digital bullet journaling. So let me know if you want a full tutorial about digital bullet journaling, or you just want to see what kind of spreads I can make through the iPad, because I would love to try those things out for you guys. So like I said earlier in the video, I am hosting a giveaway with this video and I'm super excited about. So I think we'll be keeping this lovely navy blue journal that Sir sent me, but they offered to send me their other 2 colors. So there is a red version and a black version, and I'm going to be giving these away to 2 of my subscribers. It's the exact same journal, super sleek, super clean, and whether you're interested in digital bullet journaling and you want to convert these spreads into a digital format, or you just want a free journal that can be used for bullet journaling, notes journaling, diary journaling, reading journaling, whatever kind of journaling you want, I think it's gonna be really cool. So if you want to enter the giveaway, there are a few requirements. You need to first subscribe to my channel, follow my Instagrams, which will be linked in the description box below, and then comment this special emoji in the comments below along with your Instagram handle to let me know that you entered the giveaway. All the details for this giveaway will be in the description box below. You guys have until May 19th to enter, and I'm very excited about this giveaway. So again, information down below, and I can wait to give you guys a couple of these journals. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new here, because I post Bujo videos every single week. And if you're looking to watch my actual May bullet journal setup and see all of the spreads that I made in my May bullet journal, the video will be right here on the screen. Doodles!